I'm sure at some point you've seen some version of the saying, "Do not mess with me, I'm an artist and I can draw you pregnant." This is particularly levied at people over petty internet arguments or sometimes deeply held political beliefs, and the beauty of it is no one is immune to it happening to them, like male, female, anything in between, it doesn't really matter. It is a nuclear bomb that anybody can set off at once. Tools have been the great equalizer throughout all of humanity's histories. Where things had claws, we had rocks that we could pick up and throw. And to give you an example of how widespread this thing is, even without any provoking, let's use the internet's collective homunculus to just do things to BB No Money. I've seen this guy interpreted in just about every single art style or creative medium you can conceive of, and this is a pretty common theme among some of the shit that he's being put through. Why do people keep drawing me pregnant? This dude is on a flight probably to the next tour he's gonna make 5 figures performing for one night on, and this is something still on his mind. This is the type of shit that money can't insulate you from. It sticks to you. That's not a visual most people who aren't on the internet all the time ever have to actually wrestle with in their free time. It's very often used to hold those with power in check, you know? Everybody says if you're making fun of a rich person, at the end of the day, they're still rich. But if they're like Elon Musk, they absolutely look at Twitter. Like Elon Musk was literally at the point where he was like, why is everybody being so mean to me, with his fat ass cheeks hanging out? And then someone eventually said, fuck it, let's do it. And then they just made a drawing of him pregnant, looking weirdly like Rami Malek in the face. And I will say, there is like a power dynamic here. Artists will lord this over people. Sometimes they're not using it to speak truth to power, they're using it to like just swing their dick and let the shadow cast over the masses of people who can't draw. I think on some base level it's connected to this weird kind of power that people who like using AI generated art feel now that they can like generate something by shitting poop out their ass. When they start beef with me, but I have the ability to draw them pregnant.
Go ahead. Let's light this candle, huh?
Waving around the pencil like you're Jack Sparrow with a flintlock and just all willy-nilly about you're gonna kill someone with it. This is a very common thing on TikTok. I have the ability to draw you pregnant got its own AI-generated really awesome description. I'm not reading it to you. Instead, we're getting in the weeds and exploring it like real men.
One mean word, and it'll draw you pregnant.
Apropos of nothing, dog, I just got here. You have 400 likes. Who could you possibly be arguing with over topics important enough that get this made? Me making this video is actively putting me in danger, but I'm doing so to tackle the big issues that people need to be hearing about. The thing is, the first person to weaponize drawing a person pregnant in an argument, it was like the US inventing nukes, man. Now all of your competition is rushing to get the same capability. That way that you can't just lord it over them. Shut up, I'm an artist and I can draw you pregnant. Okay, what about when you start arguing with another artist? When me and my art school friends are making fun of each other, but we remind ourselves that we can draw each other pregnant. Smiling very slyly like it's something they're looking forward to doing or even having done to them. Once I learn better anatomy, it's all over. Why does it sound like y'all have done this before? Once I learn to draw, nobody's safe, including the fridge. People are motivated to learn to draw more than ever to create a defense of themselves for anybody trying to do this to them. Also, just a quick reminder that my U2's figure is only available for the next 2 weeks. Come May 20th, this little guy is gone forever. He had a lot of love put into him, and if you guys do check him out, I really appreciate y'all copping. He's available at that first link in the description. I reckon do not reap what you do not want to sow. I wouldn't start drawing other people pregnant unless somebody did it to you first, and even then, think through your response wisely. I recommend a strategy first put together by one Richard Nixon, a very, very seminal figure in my life. It's called madman theory. Basically, during the Cold War, Nixon was actually an alcoholic and fucking hyped up on drugs all the time, but I assume as part of his cope, he also said that his plan was to act erratic so that people weren't sure that if he was a stable actor and that he wouldn't just press a nuke button on a whim, so they wouldn't risk pissing him off. It was supposed to make the nuclear threats he was doing seem credible, which, to be fair, he did want to actually nuke a few places but got held up, but had someone in his cabinet always stepping in like, maybe we don't drop a nuke unprovoked. People like Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and Donald Trump even have like taken to madman doctrine. I think internally you should have a game plan of how you'd use this tool, but outwardly you don't give any sign of what direction you're leaning in. I can't tell you what is the right and wrong place to use this, only that you should know for yourself and not tell anybody else. Now, I think the conundrum only really gets deeper when you look at it like this. This is a skill you can learn. You can acquire the ability to do this no matter where you are in life. As long as you're in any way able to learn to draw, like you have a pencil and paper, or maybe or even just fogged up glass on the bus in the wintertime, you can start practicing this shit, man. The thing is, it is not immune to the profit motive. Capital, at the end of the day, gives people the ability to produce things and make use of skills they themselves do not have and get a desired outcome as if they did have that skill through the transaction of wealth. I can't draw. As a kid, I did like Sonic sprites. That's a story for another time. I wanted to be an animator at one point, and I got bullied out of it because I suck. I probably would have kept with it and gotten, not dog shit at some point, but I guess we'll never know, because it ended up pushing me into my real passion, which I've kept up to this day, making stupid videos on the internet and talking into a microphone like it matters. It has not put me in the seven-figure club or gotten me in the socialite society, but it has given me a considerable amount of means. I don't really have much interest in learning to draw on a personal level, so it would be something I really have to seek out to do myself. Or, because I have money to spare, I could enlist the services of someone who already can. I can make steps towards a desired outcome by moving money from my bank to other person's bank. And through this transaction, I can get someone else to draw you pregnant. That artist is not doing that action out of a true feeling they have in their heart, something that you did to them that made them want to do it. It was me the whole time. And that's as an example. I don't do that to people because, again, I believe in not pulling that trigger unless you want an equal and opposite, potentially even bigger reaction and response, man. You throw a pot shot, they lob a cruise missile. Then you're like, fuck it, gloves off, here's a nuke. People on TikTok do seem to ascribe to my madman theory, where they talk about it very willy-nilly, like I could do this at just a moment's notice. But hopefully they have more restraint than that. One more word and I'll draw you pregnant. Wait, this is totally unrelated. Does that tree have tits and a pussy? I mean, it doesn't. It's pareidolia, but that's crazy. I think the evil version of this is drawing someone pregnant not as like a dig against them or with ill intent in your heart. If it's a real person, I think it's bad if you actually want to say them pregnant. And you as an artist drawing them that way, if you don't know them, is somehow worse than doing it as a slight on their character to actively shit on them. You might even have good intentions behind doing it for those reasons, but it's all the worse for it. This is a tree that has like attractive human characteristics mapped onto it by my stupid fucking brain. This is how other people's skulls take that information and process it. Heavy duty, industrial grade, multifunction, smart construction equipment, says a bad word, says a very, very mean word. These motherfuckers are trying to see it drawn pregnant. Bro. This fucking awesome time lapse that shows us the process broken down to its fundamental cores is really awesome, and I love how you can tell that the texture they used for the hospital gown is just stretched and skewed and not like drawn to match it. Who is the father? My lazy ass is not drawing hair. I mean, for something like this, I can understand doing it willy-nilly. It's still more frightening than it has any right to be. Now, when I think this thing gets just way too out of hand is when people start iterating. They start building on the drawing other people pregnant meta. Instead of pregnant being a state of being, it becomes an adjective. They add nouns on the end. When I'm arguing with someone, but then I remember I have the ability to draw them as a pregnant furry. No, anything but that. Anything but that.
Watch where you walking, bitch!
What did you... Wait a minute. I'm white!
Wait a minute, I'm an artist! Wait a minute, I'm an autist! Wait a minute, I'm on the spectrum! It's diabolical. Like, the next thing you know, they'll be adding things like curvaceous or voluptuous before the word pregnant. And it's like, how is that possible? They're pregnant. It's supposed to be big down there. This is almost like a passive agenda that artists from a bunch of different corners of the internet seem to be trying to push. Like, even if they haven't all gotten together to decide that this is their agreed upon ends, it's like they psychically are in tune that they should make as many people in the world aware of this threat so that they can heed it. I don't know if that's what living under tyranny is like, or if that's like them doing us a courtesy. This person makes like puppets from what I can tell, man. Are you saying you're going to draw me pregnant, quote unquote, like in the equivalent of whatever medium you work in? Jesus. Dude, I was like fucking scrolling and I'm so groggy this morning I didn't realize what was happening in front of me for a second. I was looking for this thing being used as a threat in like a fucking nuclear device. I've accidentally just run into the fetish material, dude. A video by Pregnancy Belly and Belly Inflation says, love this. I'm good. I'm good,
What's the
bro.
weirdest art you've ever been requested to draw?
Pregnancy. You know, the post I made about the pregnancy was a commission.
Really?
I got...
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. People with money in this world can make things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do themselves happen much more easily than people like you and me. Well, I guess having someone you don't like drawn pregnant is a more achievable aim than, you know, the things billionaires typically get up to. So, you know, maybe that puts us in a different class, but still. Ow! Now, this part is especially fucked. This is someone talking about it in a direct attempt to coerce you into doing something. Rate my cosplays, or the sentence, I will draw you pregnant, is scary. I think it's worse if someone says or, because then you're forced to choose. Are they about to request something of me so heinous that I would rather be drawn pregnant on the internet instead of doing it? It's hard to say, and it is like a real prisoner's dilemma. I don't know what a prisoner's dilemma is. I guess like if you stretched it into something unrecognizable, it kind of applies here, but I'm losing the plot. The point is, be careful out there, and with great power comes great responsibility. Artist, I'm talking to you. Also, people with money, be a little more irresponsible, you know. Bigger number, better person. I'm gonna wrap this one up here. That kwytebox email is in the description if you guys want to send me any video topics. Anyways, piss off.